still nice and sunny.
Good for you.
What a nice chap. He's clearly going to try and get some brownie point from his missus.
So be it. Alright guys, so I apologize beforehand. You guys obviously have seen some of this now already and you know the background, so I hope it's not too boring for you, but I need to show it to some of the guys on stream as well, okay, some of the stuff.
Has it gone quiet or is it just my headphones?
It's gone quiet, but
Thank you, John.
I think everybody's gone to the loo.
Right guys, what a morning, welcome to the stream, thanks for joining us. Gentlemen on Discord, thank you for sticking it out with me and your patience and also all your support, because there were a couple of very valid questions and answers given. So to make a long story short, the problem was traced to the Active Sky beta, the open beta. I removed the plugin, eventually reinstalled it, and it's working again, as I did yesterday. So I'm not sure if it's going to work tomorrow again, or what the trigger was to kill it, or if it will ever, die again. But all good, all good. We seem to have everything back in place. We've uninstalled, reinstalled many things, went through a big process of elimination and also a bit of a discovery with the latest some Toolkit Pro. So I do apologize again to you guys. You didn't answer me on Discord earlier. Just for the record, I am going to run through some of the stuff we've already done on Discord, just so the guys on stream can get to the same page as we are. So be prepared to see a lot of nice things, be prepared to be amazed, and then we're going to do a bit of a flight, and I hope you guys will enjoy it with us then when we get to that point.
Excellent, Nico, because I'm in catch-up.
Great stuff, yeah. So let's quickly get STKP on the screen. Gentlemen, if you use STKP, make sure that you upgrade to the latest and greatest, newest version that was released, seems to be overnight. We're on version 5.43 now. And I think this is a highly significant version. Uncle John,
Yes, sir.
Carl on stream is asking you a question.
Apologies. I'll get on there.
Okay, it's on YouTube, eh?
Thank you.
All right, gentlemen, do you still want the stream here in Discord, or can I kill that and we all watch it the same stream, or do you want the stream here?
YouTube's fine for me, Nico.
Same here.
All right. Saves me a bit of bandwidth. By the way, the ISP promised me double up, so I'm on currently on a 50 meg fiber up and down synchronous. So they said they'll make it 100, and it hasn't happened yet. Then we got an email, and the guy said, "Oh no, we're phasing it in. Don't worry, you'll get it." So if and when we can think of doing it another way again. Right. So in Toolkit Pro, we have a couple of new things that look different. So if you look down the side here, you'll see there's a couple of extra little tabs. If you click on the configuration, you can actually go and decide which ones you want. All right, now this was just me enabling it. I think there's method to this. It reads from the bottom up when it displays, so it's kind of the wrong way around in my logic. I'll have to go and reselect them the way I want them to be. But basically we've got the web FMC. I don't really like this all black thing. I mean, this thing can really just be the size of the FMC, but I don't want to complain. We'll talk to Dan about that. Then from the list that I showed you earlier, I've now added Windy, which is very awesome, because now we can have the same functionality here instead of going to a website to go and fetch and see and see what's going on. So I can see my weather right here. I can do all the weather depictions, so I can look at my gusts, rain and thunder. So if we look at our rain accumulation, we don't have any rain accumulation there. Thunderstorms, let's just zoom out a little bit. You guys can get a bigger picture. All right, we've got our temperatures, cloud cover, things like that. Let's zoom back into where we want to be. I think half of the fun is now going to be for you guys to actually learn where you get what, and what will be beneficial to you and what not. This is an amazing step in the right direction, and if you are watching, this is awesome. Right, sorry, Cole, I don't know why the message got deleted, but the bots have got some rules that they apply. So anyway, that is enough of that. Over here we can obviously see this is now a real world weather, and if we go to our actual active sky, we can then obviously compare it. I don't think you can see active sky at this point in time. Sorry about that. Let's quickly just see. 190 at 10, it's exactly the same weather. So if you guys ever use real world weather information, always just make sure to double check with your active sky that you are on the same meter. You can also go to the raw mode over there to maybe just make it a little bit easier to see. And this we are on exactly the same weather, so awesome. So that's windy. Sky Vector, for anybody who flies with Sky Vector, that is now something you can have inside of some Toolkit Pro. Then we've got Navigraph as usual. I've already started setting up my read. I never finished it because then this thing didn't want to work, you know, so Explain kept on bombing out because of that plugin. Then I want to show you something else, which is freeware as long as you are a member of VATSIM. All right. You can get to ChartFox and we can actually type in our ICAO and check what it gives us. So now we have certain chart functionalities for free. There's no subscription needed. So if you don't have Navigraph, you're going to be able to see certain things like this. And I mean, it resembles Navigraph. It shows you at the bottom what the source is. This comes from nats.co.uk. So this is a real world charts that are shared for free. So it is relevant. You can then obviously work through here. There's your SIDs, your stars, your approaches. You know, so looks a bit different to Navigraphs. This is obviously the UK government stuff, so be it, you know. Let's go and look at our dome chart, and we can then obviously zoom in, scroll down. It's got all the relevant informations for you. There's your parking and docking chart as well. I think we are on stand 1. I don't know why there's one there. Let's just, yeah, that's one right is the other one. So we are on stand 1 and there's stand 1 right. Also gives you the normal holds, so you can see when they say to you at Bravo 7 or wherever you've got your holds and everything. And this is free, guys. This is absolutely free as long as you are a VATSIM member. And then we've got our active sky situation here again. I have not loaded the flight plan properly, so it won't show us the extra detail. But there you have it. Quite an astonishing addition of things that you can get with the new Sim Toolkit Pro, making it an even better Swiss Army knife. Hey, Uncle John?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's fabulous.
The guy never sleeps. He's
Yeah.
another Zibo.
And to get the extra tabs down the side there, Nico, did you say it had to be a website?
It has to
Detail
be a
that you could.
website, yes. So if you go into the configuration bottom right, it reads from a website. So it has to be something that is fed via the web. It can't be something local on your machine. So,
But you can type a new one in.
yeah. There is a custom block at the bottom there. You guys can't see it. Why does it not show you that? Sorry, the way it captures, it doesn't show you. But if you click there, now you can see the word custom there, right? So if you click it, you get a drop-down list, and then you select custom. You can give it its own title and give the URL. So if you have a different source, you can actually customize this.
Fabulous,
Nice.
thank you.
Yeah. Right, so if we look at our weather, I just want to synchronize this as well, or check that it is synchronized. 10:20 Zulu. You see, this weather is old now. I wish there was a place where we could just click a button. Or let's see who's old. This is on 10:20 Zulu, and that's 0950. I wish there was a way we could just force this thing to update. Maybe if we reconnect to explain. I don't think that's going to have any bearing on it. But that is something that really needs to be sorted. We need to make sure that this synchronizes with what the weather that's actually in the sim. Some days it's really good, some days it's there, some days it's not. So the wind is 190 at 10 knots versus 190 at 9 knots. So it's very small discrepancies. Let's quickly see what the others would be, 7 degrees Celsius versus 8 degrees Celsius. You see temperatures differ. QNH is still the same. Guys, but just be careful that you don't just stare at this blindly. It needs to be reasonable. Alright, and then what we're going to do is obviously just write down our departure and arrival runways again, and the pen doesn't want to work, it's just too cold here. So we have a runway 26 on this side, and then on the other side, EIKN, let's see, it'll probably be 08. Look at this weather. This weather was last time updated the 30th, so it's irrelevant. So we go to active sky now. The wind is 164 at 09. That's a pity. So 26 will be better.
So, is it displaying the weather that it had the last time you were at the airport until it updates?
No, it's not supposed to. Negative. No,
No,
this is not
no.
supposed to do that at all. No idea why it would do that, because this is supposed to bring in the weather on its own and update the weather regardless of whether we're using its weather engine. You know, it's not supposed to do that. That's very strange. It's like it just decided not to update at that point in time. Anyhow, we're basically looking at a crosswind, so we can honestly, if I look at active sky now, we can use any which way. It's now changed to 200 at 11, so it will be better like that. So we'll take runway 26. Anyway, all part of setting up the flight, you know. I mean, you have to do the investigations and you have to figure out what's what. Norman, you mean where we download the Zibo downloads from? There's actual Zibo aircraft. Is that the link that you need? There you go. Alright, okay, so my next step is to go to Navigraph, if I can see it again. Alright, I'm going to quickly just go to screen capture. Hide that one. Hey, Captain here. Morning, morning. Actually, we don't need display capture. We can go to the Opera browser. Where is it? There. Right, so if we look at Ryanair, this is the source of my flight plan. So what I do is I copy this. Then I go to STKP into Navigraph. I will type the route. Or paste it rather. like so, and just say save. Alright, so that's how I got to this point. I obviously selected a new flight, gave it the departure and the arrival. Then we just substitute the internals like so. And we said we're going to use runway 26. That is fine. And then we want to get to OLNEY, but we can actually use this. So runway 26, OLNEY 1 Bravo, according to what we see there, is our selected departure. So let's put the departure in there for us. I just want to change this quickly to the world map. Then it's less cluttered and confusing. Alright, on the other side we see INDAP is our last waypoint. Let's have a look at our arrivals, and we need a runway 26 arrival. So there is one. Let's kill that one. INDA 1 Alpha will be the arrival, which is a reasonably silly arrival if you ask me. We'll probably cut it a little bit later. So ONAV or ILS? Why don't we just go for the ILS? And what would that waypoint be? That waypoint is Kettag. Let's look at this. So the RNAV is actually the better one of them all. We haven't done an RNAV one in a while. Why don't we just take the RNAV? Ha! Right, so to go back, I'm going to quickly open my chart list and start saving these guys. Airport, is that the one? Yeah, pin it.
Nico, what was the departure you said?
OLNEY 1 Bravo.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Right, so that takes care of that one. That one is pinned. INDA 1 Alpha. This is astonishing that anybody can go and make such a thing. Well, it's kind of like an RNAV, but yeah, it's gonna be a tight turn. I mean, they could have just gone to EDNO. You know what? I'm going to modify this. Right. Captain Hugh, yeah, look, I was supposed to start at 800 Zulu with the stream. Messing with the Vulcan edition, I've got a second copy of Explain. I installed the beta copy of Active Sky, and that in turn killed my normal Explain. And it took us, how long, guys? Probably 2 hours, 3 hours? I don't even know. Probably a good 2.5 hours to actually sort that one out, to go through the whole process of elimination to find out which plugin it is, that was causing the problem. So that's why the stream is so late today. Gave me a chance to wake up a little bit more than usual, so I'm also happy about that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to simply go and edit this thing then. Instead of going direct in DAP, I'm going to go Edono. So I'm going to just edit this thing. So that's spelling E-D-O-N-O. Edono. Save. Right. That's better. So we're going to use Edono. Then we don't do that silly turn there. And we're going to do that RNAV. We said we're going to do the RNAV, so that one can be displayed and saved as well. Norman, it's difficult for me with the family and other chores and stuff, but I'll take it under advisement. You might be surprised. I might do it. I might do it. Yes, Kevin, it was the Active Sky beta plugin. We deleted it eventually. Tested everything without Active Sky. It all worked. Put the new, well, a new installation of it in place, and there you go. It's working. So just shows you one little plugin. 3 hours gone.
Nico, just a reminder,
Hmm.
latest checklist.
Okay, yeah, we'll get to that just now. Thank you, Uncle John. Alright, that is saved, and then we can go check out this airport. Make sure we've got the lay of the land. Alright, so we're going to land on 26. That's cargo. I have no idea how this apron thing works. It looks like that's the apron and the tower, so we're going to have to probably backtrack to get there. That's fine. At least we've got all the relevant information. Yeah. First time ever in my life I'm going to take off from Luton. It was the other day, the first time ever in my life I landed here. So a couple of firsts for us today. And just before I forget, I'm not flying the Vulcan version. This is 11.41 of X-Plane that I'm flying. Alright, that's that one. Idona, we're coming in. Then the RNAV will take us down. This has got LNAV, VNAV. That's perfect. So we can use Ian more than likely. And then we've got our airport. Now I've got a reasonable idea of what we're doing now. Alright, so what we then want to do to have uniformity and to make everything work from the same plan. So we're going to copy the SID and the star included plus the whole flight route. Control C. And we're going to export this one. We're going to put this one CD drive E. This goes to output FMS plans, and we're going to save that, so that's exported. And then we can hide that one and go to our flight planning side of things. Alright, I just need to pick up. This will be 8142. And for those of you that do not realize this, a flight number is an IATA thing. This works until the counter and everything behind the counter becomes ICAO in this area. And then we need an actual ATC call sign and a number with that one, in this case 17 Bravo Papa. So typically the FR number, that's what you as a guest, as a passenger, sees on your ticket number. The pilot don't even see that. He probably doesn't have a clue that it exists, you know, other than in theory. But he doesn't see that. He's concerned about the RYR17BP. And hello Dirk, welcome, welcome. Nice to have you here. Alright, so the departure runway, we said was a runway 26, and the destination runway was also 26. And then we're going to go Control V and we're pasting that flight plan route that comes from Navigraph to make sure what we planned goes to SimBrief and then comes back. Then in performance, we're going to go for CI of 6 because that's company standard for us on the VA. Cruise altitude, I'm going to leave for automatic to get the weather in there. Hello, Captain Olaf. Thank you, Chris. Right, fuel, we're going to let SimBrief worry about, and the weights. Let's see, what does the VA tell us? The weights 124 for packs. That's going to be a bit light. And the cargo is 1.2 as well. And under options, we're going to use Lido, etc., and generate the plan. Well, that seems to be the only one that fits. Let's go to Navigraph and let's just double check it. Key tag. You see in brackets there, it's got key tag, so that is also what we pick up at the bottom here, key tag. So we're going to enter key tag, and that will complete the flight plan for us. So this suggests flight level 360, and now Hakan isn't here. He actually did the flight already. I would have liked to ask some advice there. Okay. So today is cross the pond for VATSIM, and I'm not going to go fly online now, so we're just going to skip that for now, and then we're going to say fly now. And that brings us to the very familiar OFP. This is the Lido format. Right. Gentlemen, then as Uncle John advised me, I need to show you something. Need to go and grab it quickly because with all the struggles of this morning I closed everything and rebooted. So if you guys look below the video, in the description below the video, you will see there's a link to my private hangar. It will take you to my OneDrive, and in OneDrive you will see an Explain 11 folder. In that there is a Zibo folder, and in that there's a Zibo checklist folder, and this is what you are going to be able to get from there. I will just lift it slightly. Alright, I don't want to lift it too high because then we're going to have to bring it down anyway at some point in time, so let's just pull it. Alright, so during the week I actually had a nice long meeting with Twixter, and he dispensed some more of his absolute wonderful knowledge. I spoke with Zibo. You all know about the other stream we did together, and a lot of information came from there. Oh yes, and I obviously spoke to Jan about it as well. And I've decided to change the checklist a little bit. Alright, so if you downloaded the checklist a week ago, please ignore it. Please get this one. It's a brand new one, and you'll see what it looks like just now. Matho, yes, of course, you can climb on board. Where are you? I cannot see you on Discord. Are you talking Discord? Because I just need to see you to drag you into the room. But you are very welcome to stay in the chat room here on YouTube. Anyway, very welcome. Thanks. Nice seeing you. So, coming back to the checklist. I'm going to scroll right through to this page. Awesome, buddy. Awesome. Well, I hope you enjoyed your sleep there. Alright, Cole. The video will be up later to fill in the blanks, but we'll see you later. Okay. In order for you to fill in all the blanks, so to speak, from start to finish, to do the complete flight plan, in the previous version of the checklist, I had like big lines, and you could actually write there. I decided to change it a little bit into a checklist style of things. Then the reason for changing it that way is because Sim Toolkit Pro actually contains all the information already. I think it's more beneficial to show you where to get it and for you to just go and read it than to punish you and give you extra homework, if you understand what I'm trying to say. So instead of rewriting everything, I mean, you simply go to your Sim Toolkit Pro, and there everything is already. So you don't have to go and copy and paste or rewrite or whatever. Just learn how to read this, and we'll help you learn how to read it. And then that's where the checklist idea comes from. You don't want extra work. It's already hard work learning this thing anyway. So this is the list. And if you start at the top, you work to the bottom, come to the next column, and end there, and you know where to find all of this, you'll be able to program the Boeing properly. All right. The next thing, obviously, you're going to do the flight planning that we've done already. You're going to check all the charts and online network if you want. The next thing that is very important, that is all of a sudden, it's brand new, guys. This is all of a sudden very recently been introduced into the Zibo, is this whole idea of using the CG like a real aircraft. The CG is dynamic. All right. It's not like the ordinary X-plane aircraft that's got a fixed CG now. This thing moves with weight, with consumption of fuel. It moves, and it will give you different characteristics that can be audited and tied back to actual Boeing manuals. All right, this is how accurate it is and how important this is. And there's a whole discussion that we had that I summed up in these 4 lines. All right. It's better to have a good landing CG than an average takeoff CG. A good landing CG is between 20 and 23%. All right, so I'm giving you all the facts. You're going to see how I use it shortly. Then it will make more sense. If you don't understand, don't worry about it. We'll get there. All right, to see the landing CG on the Zibo tablet, you have to be able to adjust the CG, or in order to be able to adjust the CG, you have to complete the FMC route and CG calculations. Unless you do that, you're not going to be able to move it. And once you've done it, you've got to check it. We had a lot of fun. Paul yesterday nudged me very kindly, um, to go back and check, and then I realized, yeah, I only did half a job, So I'm going to keep my wits about me now. I'm going to show you the full job. That's correct, Carl. All right, so the next step, the next line basically says you can move the CG easily by moving the cargo forward or aft until you have your desired landing CG. In the little picture that's up there, you can see I moved my landing CG to 21.6, and I tell you that for me is a sweet spot on my system. That was an awesome one. So I'm going to try and get close to that. Obviously, it's going to take a bit of calculating and a bit of moving, so you're going to spend 5 or 10 minutes on it to get it correctly, and you'll be okay. So we're going to run through that with you shortly. So I just want to go back to this one. Yes, we've done that. All right, so now we are ready. We can go and get into the cockpit. I'm just going to move the checklist now a little bit so it doesn't interfere too much. Right, we don't care about those first things. They are optional, guys. All these gray things that says optional, it's for immersion. If you want to simulate to that level, by all means, you are welcome. I don't want to sit here for another 5 hours today, so I'm just going to do the basics, and then we'll leave the rest of the immersion to you guys. Right, so what I want to do is open the doors. I'm going to use my keyboard shortcuts. Alright, we're not going to use the S there, we're actually going to use ground handling deluxe, and what we're going to do is just grab the widget and let everybody drive up. Alright, under my ground services, my chocks are always set when I load up, so that's an option in the Zibo tablet that you can set, so I'm okay with that one. Let's see if we have ground power here. No, there's no ground power provided, so we're going to go and enable, attach our GPU there. And then we're going to look at better pushback. And for an easier understanding of where we have to go to get to our runway, we can go and look at our map. Right, so that's runway 26. So what we can do is push back, tail to the left, come down Bravo, go down Alpha, and then we're halfway there, 3/4 of the way there. So that helps us a lot. So pre-plan. And this is the latest version of better pushback, guys. You'll see it's much more responsive. I really like it.
Ground to cockpit. Plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you're ready.
Right, let's go. Come on. Let's go and check the next item. If if I click the right place. Yes. Alright, so then we're going to look at the fuel and weight balance situation. I'm going to just make this slightly smaller. Turn my head for you guys a little bit so it all fits in. Alright, this is where the fun begins with that little picture I showed you and so on. We're going to go to our load. We are going to use the same method as before initially. So we're going to find our payload, which is 14 tons at this time. 14.0. We're going to go back and we're going to set the fuel at 5.7. Alright, so as you can see, the landing weight has no CG. So if you go through to our actual chart, there is no landing weight listed at all. Alright, and that's what the rule at the top tells you, that you need to go into your FMC, get the CGs, and then we can come back to this page. Captain Olaf, just reading your message there. Are you referring to when I talk about the checklist and then to show the guys where to find it that is written on the checklist? Is that what you're talking about? Okay, alright. So as I work through them, I'll actually purposely just go and show you guys. Alright. Right, so then let's start from the beginning now that you mention it. Right, underground services, you have doors. Right, so you can come and click here. That's the doors, the very first line that's on the checklist there, just sticking out below SDKP. So you can use the buttons over here. Just click it. It will open, it will close for you. Or you can actually go to explain and you can go and map them. So I've got control 1, control 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Those are my first 6 important doors that I use. That's where they fit into. Alright, the air stair obviously is now in the ground services as well. Chocks, ground power, better pushback. Everything that happens on the ground is grouped together in your ground services. So that takes care of that. Then your fuel weight and balance. Obviously, this is where you enter your weights. As I said, because it has not completed, we can't really do anything about this. But what we do have to do is we have to call the fuel truck, because unless we start loading the fuel, we're not going to get the fuel. Alright, so that's also part of the whole immersion process. And as long as it's red, you can go look on the outside. The truck is there and the guy's busy putting the fuel in. Alright, so I'm going to quickly kill STKP and just show you. Parking brake, fuel cut off switches, your reverse levers are over there, speed brake, flaps, landing gear. Alright, so these things are self-explanatory. We just need to make sure they're in the correct position for where we want them and need them to be at this point in time during the flight. I'm just checking if I remember to connect my controllers, because I unplug them at night. So alright, then I'm going to move up to the battery switch. Make sure that you guys see it as well. Right, so there's the battery switch. Then we're going to hit the ground power. Emergency exit lights will be armed, and then we go for the nav light, and then we can set up the rest of the lighting in the cockpit. So we've got our overhead, and the one is for our panel here at the back for the fuses, one is for the overhead. this one is the dome light, so you can switch your dome light on and off here as you desire. Have to remember to turn it so you guys can see. Alright, so that takes care of all the light requirements. I need to load my VA client quickly, and then once that starts, we've got 20 minutes or between 20 and 40 minutes to get off the ground, so we can't spend too much time here. Right, start. And as I've started the client, what I'm going to do is just put on the chronograph so I can actually see on that stopwatch when we hit 20, I know it's time to go. Alright, just for my own self there. Our next step is going to be the IRS selectors. We move them twice to nav, and then just for my own benefit again, I go and I put it on the countdown timer just to keep track. Especially if you guys use the 8 or the realistic 8 minutes or realistic setting. You know, when you have to wait for a couple of minutes, it's nice to have it on that setting at the top, so you can just glance and see how far it is. I'm skipping all the grayed out bits. It's nice to have all the bells and whistles ring and all. It's not really that important, and then it's time for our FMC. So I'm also going to hide this one for us. I'm going to get SDKP back on screen and go down there. Guys, very important, I'm going to mention it a couple of times more. Please use the correct coordinates. You have to use GPS L, at worst GPS or nothing else. You do not use the airport coordinates, the stand coordinates, nothing. Don't try and be over clever. You just use GPS L or R, and that will also prevent the IRS drift and all these other things that I see a couple of guys have been complaining about. So then we can start loading EGGW. We're going to EIKN. This will be 17 Bravo Charlie. Is it Bravo Papa? Sorry, I beg your pardon. Bravo Papa. And then we activate and execute. Departure seems fine. Arrival seems fine. Alright, let's go check. Move over to plan view and I enable my data, and then we can start stepping through. Did we export this on 08 or 26? Alright, 26. Then it should be fine. Why don't I have a fuzzy feeling? That is runway 26, so we should be taking off in the other direction. Hold on. We need to check this. Okay, maybe I'm just making a mistake. That looks perfect. The one thing that's throwing me is just the way it depicts it. We'll see when we get there, but it does look okay to me. I think one of the mistakes that I'm making is I'm expecting the terminal to be on the wrong side of that. So we'll accept it as that, and when we get there and it's wrong, we'll go, there was merit in it, but hopefully it's okay. Alright, so let's go back to STKP. Alright, we said we're going to get ourselves 5.7 done, and it has been loaded, so that seems to be done. 0 fuel weight, and then back to our reserves. Gonna quickly guess it, about 2.3. Hello Krister, welcome. And we set 6 on the CI. Right, according to this plan, we're going to fly 360. And according to this, our winds are 254 at 33. The ISA deviation is a -2. Right. In one limit, we're going to take off and climb like that, and then let's make that 30. Let's see if it takes 30. Perfect. All right. At 8. That's the winds. Right, the runway slope is up 0.1. Norman, that's an SOP. We double checked in the week, it's an SOP. Some guys use the top of climb wind because it's a specific point, and some guys use the average winds. It's very interesting. We looked at quite a few different OFPs. Some OFPs do not even provide this information, which is scary. We do find some limited on some not. So it's very much an SOP thing. According to Ryanair, you heard it on the last stream. Jan said they use the top of climb wind, and they could go put the average winds in the route data system. One of the problems we have when we do training is we actually overwhelm people by being too technically correct. That is also one thing that we noticed in the week. The guys don't seem to cope with a massive amount of information we give them in a very short period. So while you are using a Lido format, all right, and while things are given to you in your face, it's much easier doing it this way than to go and scroll down and go find the others, because again, it is an SOP thing. This is not a Boeing thing. Boeing has never put a gun against anybody's head and said you have to use the top of climb wind here. So just bear that in mind. %. All right. Yeah, the top of climb winds also is used to work out top of climb and your fuel and the performance and everything. Krister, they do very much the same thing. While we're talking about it, let's quickly make a note. That's 254 at 33, right? So let's go find the top of climb. Why am I missing it? 36, 36, 36, 36, 36, 36. Ah, there's top of climb. 289 at 36. Let me write it down. I'm not going to remember this. 289 at 36. That's TOC. And if we go back there, we have 254 at 33. There's not much of a difference. 289 at 36 versus 254 at 33. That's not going to break a bank in anybody's business. You know, it's not going to put such a big dent. So, I'm going to rest with what I said. You know, it's an SOP thing. Tomato, tomato, potato, potato. You know, it's virtually the same. To worry about 3 knots of wind coming from 20 degrees difference. 3 knots is wind's calm. That's almost negligible. So just to prove a point, you know, it's no point in fighting about the crumbs. So let's go back to the next page. Now we can use our V-speeds. Right, and I can close STKP. Now on STKP I can actually go and connect to my map and leave it on the map view. Alright, so what we are going to do now is I'm going to go back to that other page to demonstrate to you this whole thing about the CG. Alright, so let's get Adobe back up. Get it in a place where everybody can see. Alright, so we're going to do fuel and weight, payload, and go to our graph. Now you can see the landing weight has been added. If you go back, you also see your landing CG has now been added, 18.7. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to the load page. Beg your pardon, I keep on missing it. Alright, and now we can redistribute the weights to the best of our ability. There isn't much to play with. Yeah, unfortunately, this is a very light aircraft. So, yeah, potato. What we're going to do is we're going to have to improvise a little bit. You see now, without getting too technical, we're not going to do it in this flight that much because the aircraft is very, very light. If you had thousands of kilograms of cargo in here, it would have been a different story because then it's easy enough to change it. But literally what we're going to do is we're going to take the 180 kilograms and put it to the front. 180 plus 132, that's 312, and I don't know if it's going to make a big dent. 312, enter, and that becomes 0. Right, so we stick to the 14. Alright, let's go check our graph. It's actually gone the wrong way. We don't want to do that. So let's move it to the other side. 0. And 3, 1, 2. Enter. You can, because it is taken into account, Norman. You can, but the aircraft can function without it, so you don't have to do it. Again, there's nobody holding a gun against your head that says you have to do it, but you are more than welcome to go and do it. Because the calculations are taken into effect. It is used in the Zibo. Okay, so just looking at our landing CG, now we have 19.5. Okay, and if you look at the checklist, the rule says a good landing CG is between 20 and 23. Right, so that's very close. We don't have more cargo to play with in this configuration. So you've got one of two choices. You're either going to accept it as is and make do with it the best you can, because it's perfectly flyable, it's not a problem. Or you can go and you can subtract some of the passengers and start moving some of these passengers around. The question then again is, do you really want to go and nitpick? Do you really want to go and simulate to that level? And what if you make a mess? You understand what I'm saying to you? So we know that from the graph, we need more weight at the back. We definitely need more weight there. So what we can do is we can go like this. We can say 10 instead of 16. And we can go and put 36 over there. Alright. And now our values are different because the kids changed. Hold a second. My daughter wants to speak to me. Alright, so that's done. So now we need to fix this again. You see what I'm saying? Now we're on dangerous territory because we need to go and fix this. Captain Olaf, no it's not. But in the Zibo, it could very well be. So you can accept the default loading, or you can change the default loading. What I'm giving you today is choices, and it's going to be up to you to decide what you do. Remember, in the first bunch of tutorials I said simply add payload total. Forget about the rest. Let Zibo sort it out for you. What the Zibo code does is it tries to put the loading as close to possible at a trim value, a takeoff trim value of 0.5. It always tries to match that. So the Zibo code looks for a good takeoff trim. What I'm saying to you is in the week, now with all the changes and everything that happened, as I was speaking to Twixter, he said to me, the landing CG is more important. You understand? So this is where we are at now. I'm just going to guess again, I don't know, make it 13. Now we're just going down. Alright, so see what I'm saying? Now we are messing with everything here. So let's just reset it. What did we say? What was that? That value was what? What was the payload? 14, I think. And maybe it redistributes it differently this time. Let's have a look. 14 tons. Right. Thank you, Krister. 132 plus 180. 312. That becomes.
Are you actually using the 160 seater there?
Yeah, I'm using the 160 seater.
Because I'm getting totally different values.
Ah, Shabbat, look, yeah, I'm using the 189. Sorry, Steiner, thank you for asking. Now I'm using the 189. Let's go to the 160 then. Alright, so guys, just take note, I did go to the 160. And if we go to 14 tons, okay, so now we've got a little bit more to work with. Alright, so now we start again. We are 25.4, and we want to change that a little bit. So what I'm going to do is 508 plus 692, 1,200. 0. That gives us 21.3. So that's a very lovely value to have. Okay, so now you have it between the 20 and the 30%, exactly as we were told, where we would have a better landing CG. Alright. Okay, so I want to just quickly recap. We put in the sum total value. We go through the whole FMC. We get the landing CG. It's 21.3 or 24.5, whatever it was. What then happens is we simply play with the cargo. As you guys saw, it becomes really hairy when you start playing with these figures. Just, I would say, just don't go there. I mean, really, if you want to go experiment, but don't, kill yourself if you don't get it to work, because this really gets deep and involved. So just be careful. Use your cargo. Move it forwards or backwards until you get between 20 and 23. If it's slightly lower than 20 or slightly higher than 23, it's usable, but you will feel the difference in the handling characteristics of the aircraft, it will be more stable here in this band than it would be below or above. Okay, so that's just the principle. That's what it's all about. Questions? Any questions?
Yeah, another one. Your zero fuel weight is 57 tons roughly, and mine is 58 tons.
Oh, and I see what that is all about. 79. You see, this thing reset. 79 point. Okay, so we'll probably have to do it again. I don't know why this thing reset. I didn't check it. So, good morning, Angel. Good morning. All right. So all the passenger weights need to be 79, and the rest needs to be default. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go back. So it's 14 point. Let's go check. It should be about 25.4. You see, so by default, the Zibo gives you almost every time 25.4 on the landing. So it's just the default. And then we're going to change it a little bit. 576 plus 784. 1360. 0. See, now it's gone a little bit too low. I'd like it to be about 21. So we can then go put 360 and 1 point. Oh, it doesn't like that. So there's a 22.8. Then we're going to say, okay, let's take 100. 260. There's 22 point. We can add another 100. 160. 21.6. I'm gonna leave it at that. That gives me the same value as you can see in the picture there. It says 21.6. Alright, so guys, it's about the principle. This is not about you chewing your pulses off with your blunt teeth. It's not about you pulling your hair out. It's just about the principle. It's another option that you have to just take your simulation to a next level. It's not a gun against your head. There's not a right or a wrong. It's a question of if you just want a nicer stable aircraft to land. This is the trick. This is how you get there. This is what the guys do in the real world. The Zibo complies to those same laws and effect, in physics and science, which is a new, more realistic step in the realistic direction. And this is how it works. Alright, so I hope you guys understand that. Steiner, is it agreeing now?
Yeah, pretty much.
Alright. Okay.
I mean, those values aren't the same. Only that I have, let me have a look. I have 22.2 CG landing weight.
Alright, on 14 tons, and we just checking it's 160. You've got all the other values the same.
Yeah, hang on, 160. I need to change that.
Alright, one of the things I did not take into account this morning, Steiner, is the fact that I did set up my aircraft. This is the Ryanair aircraft. It is set up to run at 189, so I am expecting different values. Okay. Oh, come on, man. Let me just get Bixby switched off here. She keeps on talking in between. Alright, so I'm actually thinking out loud now, but my values coming from the OFP, that is all determined on the 189 seater model. So if I change that now to 189 and those values are correct, I'm going to get it to actually comply with my OFP. Let's quickly check that. So we want to move that to the back. 0, that's 24.4. So let's move 360. 0.4, that's 22.2. Is that what you've got? 22.2. Steiner?
That's what I had. Now I've changed it again as you were changing it.
I'm messing you around. I owe you a Coke. Whenever you come back to South Africa, come fetch your Coke. I owe you a Coke for messing you around. I apologize. Thanks, Paul. That's appreciated. That's your laugh is infectious. Okay, but anyway, it's part of the learning curve. So now we've got 22.2. We can drop it slightly more. So let's just make that. Hang on, let me get my calculations ready. So we'll make that like 400, and we'll drop 40 off there. So we're looking at 960. There we've got a 22 in the Mac. And drop a little bit more. 500. 860. 21.4. Okay, I'm gonna leave it at that. So Steiner.
Yeah, I've modified my values to get a 20 exactly.
All right.
And I'm going to leave it at that now.
Okay, excellent, excellent. So
I'm also using 189, by the way.
all right, okay, so I've gone back because it's supposed to be the 189 model because it's Ryanair. I've made sure that these weights are now correct. I've made sure that my CG Mac is 21.4. We are on 14,000, so the only values we manipulated were the cargo values. We didn't need to do anything else. And what we will do is we are now going to go back to some Toolkit Pro and see how accurate they are, because guys, this will be an indication for me to go and fiddle with it a little bit more if need be, otherwise they are going to work. So the first thing we're going to do is I just want to go back to the preferences and make sure my zero fuel weights and all these things are okay. The gross weight, takeoff weight there 62.6 versus 62.8, so that includes our taxi fuel. That's why it's a little bit more. We've got 57.1, that is correct. And then on our takeoff page we need to change the CG, and you'll see the trim changes with it. Alright, so we are on 22.3. So we have 22.3 on takeoff, which will give us the 21.4 on the landing. And then what we need to do, so you guys didn't see that, I apologize. See 22.3 for takeoff, which is the new CG that we had to have here. That changed our trim. Alright, so we did not set the trim yet, which is good. We're going to set that just now.
Can I just say, Nico,
Yes.
that I'm going to stick with the 160 version, because until I get the swing of this, I really don't fancy creating 4 different templates
I'm with you.
SimBrief and in SimToolkit Pro and complicating my life like that just for now.
Alright. I agree with you, and guys, that is a wonderful decision that is made. I also started that way. I literally changed yesterday. This is why everything is so fresh for me. Yesterday we sat here on Discord, me and the guys, and we battled it out. I've now got more than one template running for the Zibo on SimBrief. So the one is for the 160 seater and the one is for the 189. This is why in Ryanair I came and I changed it, because you also then have to do the same in SimToolkit Pro, and you have to adapt your fleet. So there's a whole process of going through here. If you want to keep it simple, stick to the 160 seater and get it over with. We are getting a little bit fancy now. The principle of what I showed you is the same in both aircraft, but if you are flying with a fleet, if you are, into the rest of the things, in order for these values to actually balance, there is a process, like Paul has mentioned, where you have to go and create multiple templates, and you have to tie them all together so there's a marriage between them. Otherwise, it will not balance. As you can see, mine balance is perfect because I've spent hours and days trying to figure out how to do it, how to link them, and one day I'll make a video to show you guys how to do it, so you can all do that. But to keep it simple, stick to the 160 seater. It's a good plan, Paul. Good plan. All
Yeah,
right.
it's too much for my head all at once.
Well, for many people, even for me, and I'm not joking, this isn't something I did from the word go. This is something that has taken me 2 years to get my head around it. I was always the one fighting with everybody to stick to the 160 seater because it's easy to understand. And yesterday I changed my mind. You see what I'm saying? It's taken a long time for me to even make peace with it. Alright, we are running out of time. We have 10 minutes left to get off the ground here. Otherwise we are going to be penalized. So we need to sort this out. And by the way, I just realized I did do a fresh install yesterday of the aircraft. That's why some of these settings are out. So as we are going to fly around in the air, I'm going to reset all my tablet settings and make sure this aircraft is actually where it's supposed to be. Alright, okay. Next lady for the shave. Let's see. Where are we now? Let's go down, go down, go down, go down. Alright, your damper. Our damper is here at the top. We're going to check that. Crossfeed is off. All the fuel pumps are off. Cabin utilities, in-flight entertainment, they are on. Equipment, cooling and supply where they should be. I never started the flight leg. I'm just waiting for the Leo to come on board. Let's continue, we'll come back to that one. Then I'm going to do the window heats, to check the probe. No horn, that's fine. These are all done. Norman, I think in reality it would be, because it has to cater for more people. The question is, what is your airline's weight? I don't know what your airline carries in the extra storage. So that is going to be a fictitious value that you're going to draw out of thin air in your imagination, and then add that, and then you'll have to work out everything to match again. I don't want to do that. That is too much for me. That brings me back to the question of, do you really want to simulate to that level? You can. Zibo has given you the option, but why? We also have to enjoy what we're doing and not overload ourselves. Alright, that takes care of that.
The captain has turned on the fasten seatbelt sign. Please recheck the security of your seatbelt.
And that was a bit premature. Alright, so we are now at the APU start procedure. It's running. Hello, Anthony. I'm concentrating so much, even if somebody sneezed right here next to me, I wouldn't realize. I've got tunnel vision. Christer, just as a matter of interest, thank you for sharing that with Norman. He's very well aware of it. Him and I have had many discussions over that. He's actually also helped me, spot one or two issues. And Norman, in his own right, has made a very good sheet as well. That's also why he asks some of the questions that he does, because he's obviously come to a level, where he's, very curious about certain things on that level. Right, so we've got the APU on. We can go and disconnect our GPU. So we're just going to go back to ground, click on the GPU, and I've actually gone through that already. And we're going to go and right, mode control panel. Let's quickly go set that one up. Right, so we're going to look at our V2's 144. The runway heading is 255. To be precise, we're going to climb to 360. And we're going to test it by clicking our famous buttons. Alright, it seems to be all in order. Right, we have 5 minutes left. Let's get a move on. What we need to do is now on the EFIS, we need to set up what we need to do. Yeah, that's all fine. Then before pushback, taxi briefing, we're going to push back tail left. We're going to go through Bravo, Alpha, holding point Alpha 1 for runway 26. Alright, let's close our doors. Call B to pushback.
Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
To send our ground crews away. Right, then fuel pumps, beacon light, hydraulic switches.
Right, prepare your doors for departure, please. Cross-check and all calls.
All right, we've got everyone strapped in. Give us a ring if you need anything.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Delta Sky Team and our global partners, welcome on board the Delta Flight. As you're making your way to the station, we want to be 7 kilo row and out of the aisle as quickly as possible. Travel passengers behind you, make your way to the seat as well.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
Right, and our trim, we forgot about the trim almost. We would have picked it up somewhere here. Engine start with APU. It's after that, I think. But anyway, we're just guessing that's about right.
Tow connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brakes. Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
Thank you. Let's do so.
operation complete. Set parking brake. Disconnecting tows. Stand by. Cell is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the left. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
Sorry, I muted the mic. I'm going to repeat that. I used the Bravo 739 template or the 738 template. Okay, you have to make sure you have the correct template loaded, otherwise you're going to get prop sounds and things coming through. So then the other one that is very important is the airframe winds. There's one of these options that's airframe wind. That's just too much. It's the only thing I change. Other than that, Mr. Casey, I use the default template. I don't use anything else. I just switch off the winds.
Good afternoon, Mac.
Hello, Mac. That's not what I wanted to do. That was
Am
not
I
really
too
fun.
late for the 0900 to knock?
No.
No, definitely not.
Are the doors closed? Can I still jump aboard?
I'll pick you up here by the window. Just come stand close and hold your hands high. I'll lift you here through the window.
That's not allowed.
No, for Mac, anything is allowed, Uncle John. You know that. He's McCann. You understand?
Make him catch the next flight, for God's sake, like anybody else.
Yeah, too bad he's in already. He's strapped in the jump seat. Thank you, Chris. Thank you so much. Much appreciated for the tip there. Alright, okay, so we have completed everything up to somewhere there. We've checked the flaps. No, we have not. 1, 2, 3. Right, the rest of all the stuff is done. We can then do this one. And all the controls seem to work.
Bless you, Bo.
Taxi, runway turn off. We don't need the icing stuff. What is our temperatures? No, we don't need that. The icing stuffs. Alright, so then let's get going. Oh, Krister says you can use the hatch in the wheelhouse.
I thought he was already in.
No, I said he's already in. Krister just made a comment there.
Well, that's where I would have put it, in the overheads.
Hey, Steve. Yeah, guys, this is a magic aircraft. This jump seat can handle a lot of guys, eh?
Well, I thought I'd appear after the drama was over, so just have a sit back and relax and enjoy the flight.
Awesome.
And there has been some drama, trust me.
Yeah, I messed around poor Steiner tremendously. I still feel bad, Steiner.
Don't worry.
But we learned a lot. I'm telling you, we learned a lot. It's not just for no reason. Much value in the learning curve. Mac, Chris says he hopes you are well.
Okay, the cabin is secured. Have a
Yeah,
good flight.
morning, good. I'm, well, I think I'm awake.
Well, you're trying to awake.
No, I was up late last night again, messing around with Vulcan.
Man, we had
Where did,
sports this morning with Active Sky and the beta plugin. It killed my X-Plane the whole time. It took us like 3 hours to find it and kill it and fix it.
Yeah, I heard that comment when I first woke up, but I didn't feel like leaping straight out of bed, but hey ho.
Tonto. There we go. Alright.
And good day to you, Mr. Boar, as well.
Visualization set. Yes. Done. Alright, let's go.
Approaching 2-6. On runway 08800 feet remaining. On runway 26.
Rotate. I think we're in.
Gear up.
$400.
Okay.
$1,000.
sent you a PM, Nico.
Okay, I did respond.
Thank you.
took off a minute later than you, roughly, and on Sim Toolkit Pro, I'm showing ahead of you.
Ha. I actually see you behind me on some toolkit, but just change your zoom level so it refreshes.
Altimeter setting. Altimeter setting.
No, I'm not going to go play up and down with that one. You can stay on standard. Just stay there. So, Mac,
Yes.
how are those ospreys doing?
Yeah. Bit of fun and game here and there, but yeah. There's one or two cruising around in the lighter winds today. More favourable wind. Did you only load this beta as XP in your Vulkan installation?
Sorry, Mac. You'll have to excuse me. I don't understand the question. I can tell you I copied my existing, this version of X-Plane. I copied it. I removed X-Vision and then I did the upgrade. Does that answer your question?
No, you said ASXP, was it, crashed your
Yeah,
Vulkan?
yes. ASXP had an issue that I copied that into both, basically, into the beta from Explain That plugin went into both my installations, and it seemed to be a problem.
Ah, that's what I'm on about. I wondered whether you were running beta here or whether you were on the old one here
No,
and
this
the
one.
beta involved.
Yeah, and the one I'm flying now is the old Explain.
Yeah. But with the old ASXP or the
No,
beta?
this is the beta ASXP. I just deleted it and reinstalled it, and it's working. The problem is yesterday it was working as well. So unless something weird happened that I don't know, it will either die tomorrow morning again or it will still work. I don't know. We'll have to see now.
If you get time later after the stream, we'll talk about Vulcan. I won't mess it.
Okay. Oh, I did not know. Captain Olaf just mentioned that Dewey in 94, his father died, so I just remember them. As well, shame.
Yeah, it became very much on the cards last night.
Sure. Yeah, nice.
I think it's now starting to hit home. I hope people realise that this is as bad as any of the sort of like terrorist activities, because you just don't know where it's going to hit.
Yeah.
So please take care, everybody out there, and don't think because you can't see it that it isn't evil.
Thanks, Magna. Same to you.
Yeah. While I'm thinking of it, my beta Explain with Vulcan crashed a lot. Remember I said to you yesterday, I'm just going to delete this active sky out of that one as well, just to make sure that it's not the cause of it in that Explain as well.
Yeah, there seems to be other influences that cause problems
Sure.
with the bulk version Eco, which is why I didn't want to get heavily involved in the discussion.
Sure. But now that I know that the Active Sky XP is a potential problem, I'm just preemptively taking it out so that it does not present itself as a problem.
I hadn't got round, I'll admit, to running Active Sky with my version copy yet. With my bulk copy yet. John and I went through the slow practice yesterday of slowly adding plugins before, you know, so that we would know what caused the problem. How are you getting on, John?
Don't scream at me. I've deleted it.
Oh, have you? No, it's everybody up to their own. It's a beta. It's how much patience you've got with it before we go in.
Well, that's what I said yesterday. How many times? Beta. And remember, it's a beta.
But if there aren't idiots like me who try these things, then we won't find the faults and the problems. So somebody's got to look at it.
And bless you for doing it. But no, I got frustrated with it, as Nico has to some extent. But I'm equally as frustrated with my normal X-plane because of my frame rates.
Christer, yeah, there are certain airports that seem to be too much. London City Airport for me is too much with the Zibo. You need to watch your VRAM, because that seems to be the biggest killer. Is there seems to be memory leaks in the Vulcan, and if you go to the wrong airport, it crashes out very quickly. So just play around with it.
This is one of the reasons why I want to talk to you afterwards, that outside influences that could also be playing havoc
Of course,
with it, Nico. And if anybody does want to know, I'm suggesting it can be influenced by what NVIDIA driver you're using, for example.
Yeah, I've updated mine today. There's been another update.
What driver?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the last one before yesterday, which wasn't the stable version, may have been one of the reasons it was causing the crashes.
I'll have to check mine.
That's what I said. Discussions which we don't want to bore people with, and it's got nothing to do with this flight, so I'll talk about it later.
That's good.
One of the reasons I did come to the computer and got out of my bed was when you were looking at your Toolkit Pro just now.
Oh yeah.
About the latest update and the meta engine speed, and I'm just assessing that at the moment. I haven't reloaded my new version yet, but I wanted to see if the meta was still a problem with the old version compared with your new version. But it isn't as fast updating as real time, that's for certain.
Yeah, it's lagging way behind. Way.
Yeah, I'm waiting for NOC to update because...
No, it's still at 30th of March, I think.
No, mine's reading... NOC, mine's reading 4th, 11:30.
Just a year correct. I don't know what happened since the leap year incident. It's not been active sky. I don't know, something drastically changed. It's not what I'm used to. Guys, can I go make some coffee for myself quickly, please? I'll be about 3, 4, 5
No,
minutes.
you're not allowed.
I need more. I need more, honestly. I'll be back. Just
Okay, go off then.
Thank you. Yeah, while you are here, please play the music talk, just keep the people company.
Yeah, Paul is gonna do that.
Well, I thought while Nico's away, we could all say outrageous things and swear very badly because this is on YouTube and won't be kept forever.
No, it
might
won't.
not even realise. Oh,
No,
he's listening in. Oh crap!
It won't. Tell you what, after the last thing, let me tell you this quickly for those of you who don't know about it. When we did that fly in Tonkitten last weekend, I played a video clip via YouTube here live on my stream, which is also on YouTube, obviously. And the owner of that clip lost his pants and pooed big time in his pants because of me sharing that clip with you guys live on air. So he put a copyright strike in against me. We resolved it, but it just shows you how petty certain people can be, you know. And the rules on YouTube is very strict, so I had to go and cut it out. So if you ever watch the Tonkitten video again, the piece where this poor little character's little video, which was anyway terrible quality, but that's beside the point, where that was in, is just now you're gonna see a little jump clip and it's out. There's nothing. We had to remove it. How's that for silliness?
No comment. What can you say about it?
Yeah. Anyway, Steve, what do you think about it? When I come back, I'll show you what I've added, and then we can quickly run through it again. Give me a chance to just grab my coffee, then we can sit and chat about it nicely.
And you give me some notice, I would have ordered that for you, Nico.
$1,000 to go.
So guys, who's going to Samos tonight in Greece?
I'm not certain. I've got to go shopping a little later, so I'm enjoying messing around with Bolton.
Well, I'm looking forward to you giving everybody the definitive explanation at some stage, Mike.
I don't know them yet.
Well, no, at some stage, because you do like to dig down and deep into this kind of stuff, and I think you do everybody a great service by having that depth of knowledge, so hats off to you, sir, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but unfortunately it isn't to do with aircraft, it's to do with Bolton.
Well,
Don't get me wrong, I shall watch whoever's streaming it alongside and taking an interest.
Well, given our discussions about the charts for the place, yeah, it's very interesting stuff.
I want to pick your brain later anyway, mate.
Well, don't use too sharp an instrument. It's
I promise I
probably
won't, I
sensitive.
won't. I never do I?
Oh, yes, it is an interesting one. I agree with you. Sorry, Thor, I've forgotten your real name, but do you want to be dragged into the live on air room at all?
Who's that aimed at?
BAW 5631. He's not in chat at the moment, but he often does join us.
Well, is it BOR or is it Speedbird 5631?
It is Speedbird 5631, yeah. But it's just easier to say 4. Because they're not exactly speedbirds at the moment, are they? They're all sat on the ground.
That is true. But it just doesn't feel right when you call somebody BOR.
No, because it could be BORE.
You're in.
Thank you, Mark.
I like the way that BA have moved from taking up parking slots on a whole lot of regional airfields just to find room for their aircraft.
So is this across the pond event filled to the skies with loads of virtual pilots then?
I would think so. Go and have a look. Oh my giddy aunt. Go and have a look, Paul, on Van.
Well, I'm just looking at Sim Toolkit Pro, and VATSIM have got, obviously it's not just the across the pond event, but the total VATSIM has got 2,262. IVEO 1,365, so
I'll
getting
tell
on for
you what.
4,000 pilots.
Well, when you think that the limit when VATSIM first started the new audio, they had to limit it to 1,300 connections at once, and we're now talking 2,200. You could say that VATSIM have ramped up their abilities, some have rotten.
One or two aircraft there.
There are currently 2,699 people connected to VATSIM.
He's back.
We're just talking about the number of people active on VATSIM, Nico. Currently 2,699 connected.
Wow.
Just look at the Atlantic routes at the moment.
Yeah, I've just put it here on screen for you guys, the stats. There, that's 2,257 pilots and 433 controllers.
That's controllers and observers and supervisors, that one figure, yeah. It's crazy.
Look at Europe.
Well, look there. There you guys can see it on screen.
Yeah, well, you go out over the Atlantic and see the change.
Yeah, I'm moving the mouse wheel too much. It's struggling to draw all of them. But yeah, look there. There's your Atlantic. The guy's going over for across the pond.
Wow.
You can hardly see anything. I'm trying to switch it off so we can actually move.
I was going to say, when you can, go to Europe. Well, that's ridiculous.
Oh, and I'm not trying to... Can I mention another streamer who's currently streaming, Nico, or would you rather not?
No, you can mention it. I don't mind. There, you've got the aircraft. Look at that. Go for it.
If anybody's interested, flight deck. What's his name?
Flight deck.
Yeah, he's currently doing across the pond from Dublin to New York. Remember we were on about what was the range of Zibo? He's flying empty, full fuel to try and do that.
That's into the Gulf Stream, jet stream as well, isn't it?
Well, we will look, if you remember, well, I can't remember who I was talking to. If you look at the wind, the current jet stream is south. And actual fact, if you were flying east to west, today is probably as good as any. If you go and look at active sky, not active sky, windy.com. Move your altimeter to 34,000 feet and then you can see all the wind.
Yeah, better than most days, perhaps.
And you can see why they're traipsing off the north of Scotland, because the winds to start with tend to go west. Yeah, it is. Well, I would imagine that's probably a record yesterday's. The last 24-hour viewing figures, there's been 9,000 people now.
Wow.
9,260 in the last 24 hours.
Carl, that A track that you mentioned, is that where you have 2 or 3 parallel tracks above the water to keep people separated?
Well, there are about 5 tracks across the Atlantic, and they've chosen 2 of them. Carl might be able to tell me which 2 they've populated today. If you go to Sky Vector, you can actually select to show the current tracks. If you go to layers on Sky Vector and then choose the nav tab, you can highlight whether you want the North Atlantic tracks to show.
This is no good. This is no good. This needs to change. This display is no good at all.
Not when you can't see your OFP at the same time.
Yeah, it's totally pointless now. Completely
Oh,
pointless.
that is interesting.
Yeah, it's pointless.
Nico, I wasn't referring to your stream.
Don't worry, Mac.
If anybody's interested, normally there's 5 tracks on the oceanic. Because of the, presumably, the current climate that we're living in the air industry, they've only got one track live, east and west. Right. See where it says, you had that there, Nico. Pull it out, that sky vector. Right, if you go to the layers at the top, click on layers, top right, no, layers.
It's there, don't worry.
No, that's it. Now that is unusual to only have one track across the Atlantic. Normally there are 5 each way. That is unprecedented conditions these days and shows how little real traffic there is.
Okay, Steve, so coming back to you now, that screen I showed you earlier, if you go into the config here, these are the tabs that I have enabled with their associated links. As easy as that. This is just unacceptable. Not useful at all. There's no way to reshape it. Completely unusable.
What, you can't use that?
No, because it hides my OFP. The whole point and the way I was doing my training and usage of it, this sat on the side and it, you know, here in this corner, the white corner here, where the mouse was sitting there. So I could scroll up and down and get to all my detail and all. So, I mean, that's basically killed it now. There's no point in having it there now.
Can you go to that, the pop out for your web pages again? I was just wondering whether it was feasible to make it a frame you could pop out. If he would be able to do it in future.
Well, no, I don't want it to pop out. It was perfect the way it was. All he needs to do is trim out all that black garbage. You know, I mean, that is not necessary.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah. Yeah, he's changed his means of doing it. I'm with you now. Yeah.
Well, top of the set is 27 miles, right? This. Add.
Nico, you've gone quieter than usual.
So I moved this to facilitate the drinking of the coffee. The mic was moved. Thank you, Tony. Thank you for that, because wow, this was a shocker. Awesome. Yeah, that's awesome because you can add any custom web page in there. You know, so if you can, want to, you can add your VAs in there. But that means we need more tabs. Tony, please ask Dan to add more tabs. I want to add my VAs then in there as well. So I need 2 more tabs at least. That's cool. That's a very brilliant idea. Thank you, Steve.
And Matt can have his ospreys.
Yes. Right, guys, just quickly, we're going to do LNAV, VNAV, our interception point. That's our final approach point is at Rackham. We're going to go for 2,500. So I'm going to set up 2,500 there. I'm going to use an EN approach, so I'm going to use the approach button. And that is why I'm not worried to go down. If you're just going to use LNAV, VNAV, you're going to have to go down to 900 odd. Otherwise the MCP will block you. So we'll see if EN is available. Otherwise we are also going to bug down and bring that lower. Right, our decision altitude. Let's press the wrong thing. 915.
Nico,
Yes.
are we going to enlarge on the activation of the approach? Do you remember we discussed it?
Yeah.
That Tim told you about?
Yeah, we can look at that again. Just want to set up everything quickly, Uncle John. Right, what else do we do? The course value 264. Right, and our go around altitude is 3,000. Our transition altitude is 5,000. See, this is, I'll run it for you guys this way, but it was easier the last time. Just want to see where we're at. We're at BAGSO. Right, so at BAGSO we've got 3.3. At the destination we need to drop 600 kilograms. So that means a 59.9 will be the gross weight. So we're going to land flaps 30. Right, then we're going to go destination forecast. That transition altitude is 5,000. The transition there is 6. So we're going to say flight level 050. Change that one. Right, then we're going to go to 100. Like so. Then we're going to close this tab and we're going to look at the winds. I saw Dan said that he will work on a solution for the small text because this is how it's imported from SimBrief, but we really need bigger text here as well. 22446. And if you are not old enough to worry about your eyes, don't worry, you'll get there. You'll remember this old idiot complaining about small text one day. One day your day will come. 1040.
Just a thought, Nico, when you suggest that. Be careful you don't trip yourself up. Because with the current text sizes, you, in the old version, load web.
FMC, correct. But it should have like, if we can have like a plus and a minus, you understand? So we can just make it bigger and smaller.
Yeah, that's what I was just so you qualified yourself.
Yeah. Thanks for trying. Thank you. That's awesome, Flying Medic. Listen to that. You see, look at that. Clever man. To one quality. ISA deviation is 0 and the QNH is 1020. Execute. Progress done. Alright, there we go. Did it a bit late, to be honest. You have to do it before the top of descent, but I went to make coffee. Sorry. At least it's in now.
And the QNH was 1020, wasn't it?
I don't know, Paul. I know it was something like that. We're gonna check it just now again.
I think that's what it said anyway.
Yeah, but it might now be from the old ones. I need to check it. I need to check it in active sky. It's 1010. How's that? 1010 is the correct one.
Well, that could be painful, so that's a valuable lesson to check that.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I read it from some Toolkit Pro and that's wrong. Steve, you can add any website, but it's kind of irrelevant to have those things in there because altitude, you still need your plugin to run and you need to connect the plugin manually. And in SimToolkit Pro, if you do a pre-flight, it does open the appropriate thing inside of, your pre-filing does open inside of SDKP. That's so for VATSIM and Iveo. Xpilot is an app. It's not a website, so you can't really add that as far as I understand. Steiner.
Yeah.
Hot mic. Just
Are you
thought I'd
sure?
warn you. Yes.
Yeah, we can hear your bath running or whatever it might be.
That's weird.
Now it's gone.
Yeah, SimToolkit Pro just froze.
Good morning, Michael. Okay, I want to actually apologize to Dan. I was blind. I want to show you guys something quickly. I found something that I missed. I honestly missed it. There's an A for the smaller text. There's an A for the bigger text. You can resize it. Woohoo! How's that, guys? I didn't know it was in there already. I just played around with it and I saw that's what it does. Look.
Oh wow.
What a guy, what a guy, what a guy.
It's time to get some new glasses, Nico.
No, sir, I mean, if you knew it was there, you should have told me. You didn't know it was there either.
No, I didn't. I'm not gonna deny that.
Look at that.
But I've just got my magnifying glass out because I'm used to doing that these days.
Alright. Okay, well, look. That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
And look at that. If you go big enough, it even folds it up, look.
Yes, it's stunning.
Another 20 bonus points for Dan.
For sure.
He's one jump ahead of us all.
Yeah, and that's just the FMC that needs to have that facility so we can resize it. Tell you what, I will be so happy. That will be so cool. Right, while we are descending and we have some time, I mean it's going to get rather busy rather quickly later, let's talk about this checklist a little bit more. For the guys who have not seen it yet, I'm going to scroll down. There's a new page I inserted and I'm going to lift it up again so you guys see better. No, that's the wrong one. That's the wrong one. Why don't you want to move now? Oh, now I've made a mess. This is completely to the wrong place. There. It's missing it. I need to resize everything on my side so we can see it there. Alright, gentlemen, please go and read this page. It's very important. It talks about some of the ways we were taught as young boys how to intercept the ILSs and things. It also explains to you why sometimes you are responsible for the IAS, the indicated airspeed, why you need to bug it down. There are ways to get around it where it will actually do it automatically every time you select a different flap setting. It will then adjust automatically. So there are times and ways of bypassing that. There are times and ways that obviously it won't work. There are a couple of tips from Twixter, okay, and then we have the flap extension tips. I've included the 3 most popular ways of extending the flaps as a theory for you guys here. We know of a few others that we can add in there, but we ran out of paper. I don't want to make it too big as well, because I know a lot of flight simmers are not very keen on reading too much anyway. So basically we've got a procedure where we can use the final approach fix. We can put rings around it and that will guide us as to when to use the flaps. Alright, then we've got Twixter's own way of doing it, that he says he prefers doing it this way. To go to flaps 5 while intercepting the localizer, gear down to flaps 15 at the final approach fix. Guys, all of these procedures have a common goal, and that is to have you fully configured at around about your final approach fix, or at least, at worst case scenario, at 1,000 feet. When that call comes over the Zibo, 1,000 feet stable approach, whatever, go around altitude set, whatever those words are, you need to be stable. That will prevent you from the porpoising effect unless your weather has got a problem. You know, the aircraft needs to be stable at 1,000 and down because it needs time to set the trim. It needs time to settle into that descent. So by the time when you disconnect your autopilot, you are ready to land basically without any dips and any other strange things. So please go read this, and then you can decide you know, which one will work for you, which one you like, mix and match them, kind of a thing. And then lastly, just to take out a myth, those big bold piano bars that you see there, that's not the end all and be all of the landing spot. The actual touchdown zone is your first 900 meters or 3,000 feet of the runway, or the first half of the length of the runway, whichever is shorter. I see a lot of bad comments, negative comments that are born out of absolute stupidity and ignorance on the forums, where people nail each other for supposedly bad landings because they don't know how it really works in real life. And that is one of the rules that they seem to not understand. You know, just because your wheels don't touch down on those big piano bars doesn't mean you're wrong. Alright, so I've included this for you guys to have a look at. There's a lot of value in it for you, and one of the things that I never dreamt of doing, for instance, is to leave the aircraft to actually establish itself. I mean, you can go back onto my videos, you'll see I press the approach button or the BOR lock button before the aircraft actually turns onto finals. And basically that's also a tip that you can use that comes from Twixter, where he says let the LNAV establish the aircraft first before you press the approach button. We're talking specifically ILS, by the way. And that will give you a better turn, and it will give you a better interception. So just a couple of little points, notes that you guys can go have a look at, please. You know, for educational purposes, we can call it that.
Can I just highlight a headline you might want to warn your viewers, Nick?
Yes, please.
Can you go to STKP and hit the home page?
Yeah.
I've got a red band news item top right of the home page. Home page.
Alright, I see it. Thank you so much. So it says do not use a fleet filtering option at this moment. They could in certain cases overwrite your fleet with the search results. Okay, these guys. He says 0.6 is coming soon with cloud backup for your data, but until then, occasionally backup your flight data from the Documents and Toolkit Pro folder for details. Hit the help icon above the view FAQs for details on how to do this. So there you go. Thank you.
Yeah,
Brian.
it was the highlight that he's going to ship a patch within the next hour to take care of that fleet problem, fleet filtering problem.
Alright, okay.
I can also update anybody. Batsim is still working on creating an X-Pilot compatible with Bolton. Still not available.
Thank you. Steve, I went hunting for that button. That's a cool feature. I like it, to hide that menu quickly. I think that's the one you're referring to, just to hide the menu. It's brilliant, really brilliant. Let me show the guys here. So here at the bottom, if you click that button, it quickly hides your menu off the map, and then you can just bring it back. How's that? Very nice. Michael, are you sure that your experimental flight model in X-Plane is off? Because porpoising nowadays seems to revolve around that or an incorrect installation, where there might be traces of a previous installation interfering. Or just terrible freaking weather, but okay, so it was off. Oh, you know what else it could be? Your hardware. How sure are you that once you are descending, look at my idle, that they actually went into idle? I tell you what, sometimes I can't show you now, but sometimes what happens is my one throttle gets stuck, and then my system also, it goes haywire, you know. So just make sure that you pull your levers to idle when you do your descent. Not sure what else it could be, because you can see it's very stable. Yeah. So before you descend, it's a good practice. Just pull your levers to idle, and you know, let the VNAV code do what it does best, and then there shouldn't be a problem. Steiner.
Yeah.
I'll try not to leave debris for you. I'm just giving you a heads up. I'll do my best. Because I see we're getting close to landing now.
I think Steiner's a Formula One driver is slipstreaming you. He's probably going to try and do an overtaking manoeuvre on final.
It's okay. I've got a special button here. It's called stealth mode. He won't even see me. So you're welcome to land, okay?
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, very cool. Alright.
Alright.
1,000 to go.
By the way, is there some kind of frequency required for, you know, VOR or something?
Sorry, I'm typing to Uncle John. Yes, say again, Steiner.
Is there some kind of frequency required to basically home in onto the runway?
No, so it's all RNAV. So what's going to happen, if you look at my screen, we currently have EN enabled. Alright, the integrated approach navigation is on, and it turns the LNAV VNAV into an ILS basically. Alright, so we can literally use the approach button as if it's an ILS. And what you need to do, sorry, I need to emphasize this, and I might not have done it. You should be careful that you do not have ILS frequencies active. So what I do is I go to VOR on my MMR, and I just put the VOR frequency as active. ILSs can sometimes interfere. So that's just good practice.
Okay, thanks.
Pleasure. Right, so that will be our final approach fix, and we're going to be in final configuration. At that point, I'll go to it as soon as possible, right there. I see, according to the EN, we need to be at a runway course of 263. Gives it here, so it's RNAV 26. That's your course value, I'm 8.6 nautical miles from touchdown.
You didn't set up your fixes though.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I was too busy with other stuff. I'll do it in another stream again. Thank you, sir. And it's much appreciated. Thank you. Saves me from doing it. Yeah, I appreciate it. I see the alignment of this runway isn't really good again with scenery versus nav data. Plus, yeah, sorry, and plus we have a nice 11 knot wind that the aircraft is fighting against. So I'll take it close enough and I'll take over if I have to. Just want to get my 3,000 feet set in to the MC because we are skew. Steiner, just as a small heads up, we are a bit skew here. Right, I'm going to lift my throttles to match. Cancel this, and then I'm going to take over. Just fly by hand because we are way skew, eh? We are way skew.
Yeah, I saw that.
Approaching 2-6.
Thank you for the subscription there.
500. Minimum 400. 300. 200. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20.
Pulled too hard. I pulled way too hard.
10.
Too low, gear. Too low, gear. Too low, gear. Too low, gear.
I'm going
Too
around.
low, gear. Too low, gear. Too low, gear. Too low, gear. Too low, gear.
I pulled too hard right there at the end. Damn it.
That's me go.
Sorry, I'm not going to fly that standard published go-around procedure. I'm just going to improvise.
somebody's on the ground.
Yeah. Somebody knows how to fly apparently. Some of us are still learning.
Or some took more risks than others.
But that's why the name is Danger Ranger.
Who dares wins.
No risk, no fun.
Well, I tell you what, I've made some pretty stunning cowboy dives and turns in my streams. Let's keep it kind of civil today.
Yeah. Out of interest, did you find an offset as well,
Yeah.
Steiner?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was to the right by well, maybe 200 meters or so, or maybe more.
Yeah, it was wide.
So I was watching your tracking and the go and everything. And have you got heading or tracking?
I've got track enabled right now. Mac, I forgot I reinstalled my aircraft yesterday. I never went and set up my settings again.
Right, what I was getting at, when you were lined up to the runway, it was 263, and yet the ILS course is 266. So I was wondering, is that scenery out of date, do you think?
Probably. Probably.
Just had a nice thank you from Dan.
Okay.
He broke the 200 plus concurrent flights on SDKP this morning.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah, well done, Dan.
He thanked us for the promotion that we put out for him.
Awesome. You know what? I don't mind promoting anything that is worthwhile and is supported, but I can't support anything that is substandard and not supported. You know?
Michael C,
I see.
it's an option in the EFB. You have to select the MMR radios.
Yeah. Awesome, Steve. Well, this was kind of a follow-up, but it's not the formal follow-up yet, so you can watch this one afterwards as well. A couple of tips in there. The white EFB is a plug-in modification, whatever you want to call it, from the org, so you can just search for it. It's in there somewhere. I found it. Got enough fuel. It's just going to eat into our reserves. Thanks, Michael. Thanks for the subscription. Alright, so let's look at those charts. Let's see wind in Navigraph. What is the altitude we need to be in at payroll? 2,500, so let's dial that in. Change that to 2,500.
Michael, a little bit more. Configuration options, display and variant options. Page 2 is called multi-mode receiver. Just click it to read yes.
drive us nuts now. Let's just increase our speed a little bit. There we go. Steve, that's usually because of weather. I think in most cases, big weather changes rips the aircraft apart. But I've never experienced it myself in that way. So on the FMC, and sorry for that noise, that's just a gear warning. On the FMC, you just press the departure and arrival. Click on arrival, and there you go. Right, let's turn. Oh, that's INET reference. Sorry, misunderstood you. That's INET reference. There they are. Well, there's the runway. I have it visual. Righto, take two.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ryanair would like to apologise for the late arrival. The day trippers are hoping that the smooth Guinness drinking days too much.
Right, well now this time it's a little bit more tricky because we don't have all the automation and we now have to fly it ourselves, and this is why flying circuits by hand is such a valuable training tool, guys. Not saying I'm perfect, but trust me, go and fly this aircraft by hand over and over in circuits. It's going to make a huge difference in your situation where you don't have automation. Look at that crosswind. I mean, we're grabbing.
Oh yeah, you got, was it about 16 knots?
12.
What you got?
12.
Okay.
If you get lost, here's a tip. Click the CTR button to get the rows and then enter your airport. Click the airport file. Then you'll just have to use your imagination from there. It's fairly straightforward to follow the airport from there. So then you shouldn't get lost.
Approaching 2-6.
By the way, I think I might have found now one of the reasons why we've got problems with Meta with Toolkit Pro but not
Why?
etc. Because currently it isn't broadcasting any better.
Approaching minimums.
But why does Active Sky then have it?
Because it propagates it from other
400
information.
minimums.
Yeah, it's interpolated basically.
Well, what it's doing is it's broadcasting the last
200.
issue, which
Yes.
was some time ago.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
I am kicking and turning and going crazy to try and keep this thing center, not funny.
Nope, that was a pretty fair landing, Nico, in the wind conditions and everything.
Yeah.
And I'm quite impressed with the look of this airport as well.
It's the same guy that made Shannon and so on, you know. It's not a bad rendition, but hell, it's off on the nail.
Yeah, it is off. I'm wondering if we might be able to roll to that, but yes, it's still pretty darn good visually.
Yeah. Hope we've got a turnaround on the other side, according to the satellite image we have. So. Bit of a short runway.
On runway 08.
Bit of an uphill, eh?
I'm impressed with this. I really
Very,
am.
very impressed.
Well, looking at the vegetation around it and everything as well, I'm pretty. The markings on the runway, that's photographic. Because those images, that's
looks like
pretty
it, yeah.
darn good.
There's cargo over there. Back should be here. Tell you what, that wind made me work for it, eh? Steiner,
Yeah.
what was your wind like? Do you also have active sky? Did you also have the crosswind with 12 knots?
Well, I don't remember how much crosswind I had, but I had crosswind here from the left.
Okay.
And I have active sky too.
Okay. Right. Are we? No, not this one. Not yet. That's for the cars and the fire trucks. I'm just glad my freaking explain is working again. I got worried this morning.
Yeah, I was worried too.
Damn it. Thank you, Steve. I see my one is saying the same. New update is busy downloading for SDKP, guys.
Again.
Yeah, that patch to sort out the fleet problem. It's an emergency patch. Bloggerman, welcome. I hope all the cravings are satisfied now from all avenues. Brake set. On and engines off. I just want to log it for the VA quickly. We can do a replay. Phew.
2500.
It's a bit like a day of work, hasn't it?
Yeah.
All that effort this morning.
Blogger man, just watch out for this evening. We'll have a group flight again, and then just I'll put it on YouTube soon. The times and everything. I'm not sure what the actual times are as we speak, so I'll have to put it and then just set a reminder.
Is this the Greek flight?
Yes. I still have not watched or looked at it at all. I have no idea what's going to wait for me. I was actually thinking, you know what, maybe let's leave it as a surprise. But I don't know. We'll still see.
Cody's posting event still says meeting Discord between 16:45 and 17:30 Zulu. Pushback not later than 18:15.
Awesome. Oh, that was a firm landing because I was scared that the runway is going to be a bit shorter.
Mine was a bit harder.
As long as you can use the aircraft again, it's perfect. Now the trick with photography and X-Plane is if you watch it from the outside, it's less noticeable that it was a hard landing. That's why most guys, that's why most guys put their videos on Facebook from the outside, because then you don't see that bump. If there are any bumps.
A nice bit of crabbing going on there.
Yeah, for sure.
But if you use the landing speed plugin, you'll still see it here from the external view.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Wow, this is actually beautiful picture. Well, that you see that doesn't look so hard from the outside. It's when you're inside that it makes a bit of a difference.
Did you catch your sleeve on your yoke when you disconnected there?
Now what happened is I moved my feet too much. That was a rudder movement. These rudders are super sensitive. Way too sensitive. Anyway, that does it for the stream. gentlemen, ladies, if there are any, thank you for watching, and we'll see you later this evening. Paul, you said something like 1600 Zulu and after. So anytime from 1600 Zulu onwards, just come have a look. You'll see it will be listed, and you just set a reminder or something if you want to join us again. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thanks for the stream, Nico.
Always a
Thank
pleasure.
you, Nico, once again. Well
As
deserved
always.
applause.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much. Bye bye.